Big updates in the trial of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali. That will be a nightmare in this case and a nightmare for Ramzi. So we're going to get into that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney who's been covering this case from back to front. And we're going to get into it today on this Fast Facts episode. Of course, the Fast Facts are the quick and nerdy version of the latest in legal news. If you like this, please like the video and leave a comment below. So let's just jump right into the PowerPoint to the PP here as we have an update here. Now, of course, for a little bit of a refresher, for those that just want to recap very, very briefly, he currently, Ramzi, has been charged with 8 different criminal charges. His next court date is on October 29th of 2025. He has pled guilty to all of the obstruction charges. That's 4 counts. All of the Minor Offenses Act, which is 2 counts. And he has pled not guilty to the 2 deepfakes, which are going to come up at the next trial. So we've got that coming up for the next trial. And that leads us into the sentencing. And this is something I really want to update, as after the trial, I've seen a ton of clickbait, a ton of misinformation. The maximum amount he is facing is 12 years. Anything else is just trying to get you to click. It's just trying to not, make it sound better. That is the total under the guidelines. Now, some channels just aren't factoring in the guidelines, and that's kind of innocent and or unintentional. Other ones are intentionally doing its clickbait. I'm not going to call them all out. You guys know them, but just make sure that is the maximum. That is a total, and that is the accurate number. Now, most likely people are asking, Andrew, what is your guess now? I think it's going to be somewhere at least at the minimum on the default. That's my guess. So, at the bottom, I would think about 4 years, 9 months. That would be reasonable. And it could go all the way up to 12. So somewhere between 4 and 12, obviously being what I think. I don't think he's going to get the mitigated minimum. I think 4 years or 9 months, that'd be a reasonable minimum. And it could go up to, 8 years, 10, 9, 10, 12, 11. We'll see. But 4 is definitely something that can happen in this case. Now, Somali will go to jail even if he appeals. So this is something people have asked. What if he appeals? It actually is quite easy to appeal in South Korea, but you do not get that as a get out of jail free card. Appealing is not a get out of jail free card. So even if he appeals, he's appealing from jail. So that's not going to really help him with staying out of Korean jail. And by the time that he appeals, by the time he gets through everything, he'll likely be deep within his sentence, right? He might even not be finished with his appeal by the time he's already done serving his time. So there's that. Beyond that, what are some updates? Well, we have a huge witness update. So the next trial is October 29th, and it's going to be witness testimony. Witness. It's going to be crazy. And we already know that there were going to be 2 witnesses there, Bong Bong and Youngman. But now we have official confirmation that there will be actually 3 witnesses. And this has been confirmed by the court filing. So we know this is a fact. Once again, we go on facts, not speculation. These are things that are absolutely locked in. So we know there's going to be 3. So who is this third person? Well, this third person is absolutely Somali's true nightmare. And this is the worst case for Ramzi. That third person is none other than Yu Dae-gun. None other than the SEAL, the underwater demolition team member, which is essentially the Korean Navy SEAL, who, of course, gave that infamous punch. He went viral for that. Somali, has been trying to bury this guy maliciously in civil lawsuits, but he's actually had all of his law fines paid off, all of his stuff paid off. There was a very generous donation by Donut Operator that I helped facilitate that essentially paid everything off that Somali tried to bury him with. Somali talks tough and says, I don't call the cops, I don't rat, blah, blah, blah. He immediately reported this when he immediately went after him. And he's been dedicated, Dae-gun is dedicated to bringing down Somali. He's always been helpful with the proceedings. And the most important thing is he's not going to be scared by Somali and his gang. Now, Somali and his gang tried to scare Bong Bong. I think, Youngman's not really going to be scared either, but it's really not going to work with Dae-gun. Dae-gun is not going to bend the knee. He's not going to flinch. He doesn't have dirt on him. He's pretty clean overall. It's something that it's going to be really hard for the lawyer for Ramsey to fight back against. It's going to be really, really, really difficult for them to try to take down Yu Dalgun because they really don't have the same pressure points and they're not going to have the same ability to try to press in. So whereas, we don't know how Bong Bong will perform when she's put up as a witness. We don't know how Jungmann will perform. He's a little bit of a wild card, but I can say Dalgun is going to be a solid performance on the stand. He's going to be very, no nonsense, straightforward, not going to be able to break him mentally or physically. And that is the worst thing that could happen for Johnny. As for Ramsey's lawyer, there's been a lot of misinformation to the point that I felt the need to correct this. And this does happen from time to time with other channels. He has not resigned. There's some fake channels and fake news and other stuff like that are putting that out there. He is still the attorney of record. When you step down, that has to be a court filing, or if there's a switch in attorney. He has not changed his representation. He has not stepped down. If he does step down, I would know immediately because they would have to go through the official proceedings, and we'll give you that update immediately. But until I give you an update that Ramsey's lawyers step down, he's still the lawyer. So that's misinformation. Now, do I think he could step down? Maybe, sure, in the future it's possible, but he hasn't. Factually, he hasn't. So that's a big thing I wanted to clear up. Next, the Child Welfare Act. This is something that a lot of people are asking me about, and I want to be very frank with you about this because, once again, this is under ongoing investigation. We do not know. We do not know yet whether they will decide to bring this, and that is a very important fact. We want them to. We've provided them with the best information they can get. All the information they've got is the best information they can get. There's not going to be more information that's going to make a better case to charge him under the CWS, Child Welfare Act, than what we have provided and what they have. They've gotten some interviews, they've gotten follow-up, they've gotten extra information. So we know it's ongoing. We know they're taking it seriously. However, we do have new information. And I don't want to go into all the details, but that new information indicates that this will likely not be added to Ramsey's current trial. So it is very likely this will not be added to the current trial. Now, some of you may be sad about that because you may say, okay, well, this could have delayed the current trial and kept them longer. Well, hold on. It's not necessarily bad. What would happen if, once again, if prosecutors decide to indict him, they'll probably do that in a different district, probably not the Western, probably the Eastern, and that will be a new trial. And likely by that time, Somali's trial will either be over or almost over, and even better, he'll be sentenced. So then they'd be dragging him in a prison jumpsuit. He'll be in the prison gear for the new trial, which makes sure he's a convicted criminal. It's definitely an aggravation. It doesn't look good. This would be very, very bad for him and would extremely extend his time in Korea. If he is convicted of the Child Welfare Act, that would extend his time a great deal, because it's a new charge. So this is something that I want everybody to be aware of. We're going to watch it. We're going to keep you updated. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. In fact, procedurally, it could be a huge W.